Well, hello everyone. This is going to be the video tutorial on how to set your interior of your classic zip around wallet into your exterior by only using one single stitch, not two stitches. So for example, this is what I'm going to show you how to do, just a single stitch. So for those of you who are a little bit intimidated by doing a secondary stitch around here or just want another option, this is going to be that option. So this is what the wallet will look like when it's finished. So I'm just going to cover all the instructions on how to do this. In front of me I have my interior, my exterior piece all ready to go. I have some long clips. You're going to make sure you need long clips, not the short ones. I also have a damp cloth on me because what we're going to be doing is we are going to be using contact cement to glue the interior into the exterior. Now you could possibly use a water-based contact cement like Aquilium 315 or EcoWeld, that kind of stuff. However, I really haven't tested that to know that it's going to adhere permanently. So what I am going to suggest is that you use the permanent contact cement, the one that has the odor, unfortunately. There was Tanner's Bond cement in this bottle, but I ran out because they are out of stock right now. So I have put in the LePage's contact cement inside here, which has a more of a yellowy tone. The Tanner's Bond is more of a clear. Okay, so let's begin, and I'll tell you exactly how I achieve this. First of all, you need to have your interior all ready to go. I have placed 2 pins at the top and the bottom on the right side of my interior to mark my center. Now, because I'm not going to be adding a secondary stitch here, I like to add what's called a false stitch. So if you can see all the way around here, there is a false stitch. So that when you open up that wallet, it's going to appear that you have added this secondary stitch, but you still see a stitch line which connects everything together to make sure that it doesn't move on you. So that piece is ready to go, and I've placed my pins on center. This is your exterior piece. I've got the pull on there right now. You don't have to have the pull on there if you don't want. I have also placed 2 pins, one at the bottom portion and one at the top portion, in line with my center line right there. Now, as you can see, my zipper is placed inside and ready to roll. So the first thing I want to do is I want to roll back my zipper like this, so that I am exposing this curve right here as well as the top section of my exterior. I'm going to do the same thing down here at the bottom end, and I am actually going to work one section at a time with the glue. I'm going to start with my exterior front. So that's the area with my logo, because it's easier to place the interior into this area when you cover it with the contact cement as opposed to once you put the second portion on, because you will have a bowing happening and you have to make sure that it stays in place. Add any kind of glue here. You need to make sure that everything is aligned perfectly before you begin. So I'm going to take my interior and I'm going to match my pin mark on my interior to the pin mark on my exterior. I'm going to roll my zipper back so that I'm exposing this folded edge right here. I'm going to align the top fold of my interior Craftex with the top fold of the exterior area, and I'm going to align my pins perfectly. I'm going to take a long clip. I'm going to place that clip down on either side of that pin, just like that. Now what you want to make sure is that this fold, these 2 folds, the top of your interior and the top of your exterior, are nicely aligned and perfectly even. Now, when you get this clipped together, you also need to check your sides. So I'm going to exaggerate this for you. So if you were to see this, where you had too much of your zipper showing and not enough over here, then you will need to do a shifting of your interior to make sure that this is aligned on the side and this is aligned on the side. You should really be seeing about just like a 1/16 of an inch, if you can see right there, of the zipper on both sides. Make sure you're seeing enough. Now, at this point, if you have done any kind of adjustment, you need to replace the pin. So if the pin's over here, you need to bring it back in line with the pin on your exterior. That is extremely important to make sure that these are aligned before you add any glue. You want to do the same thing down on the other side. You want to place the pins on top of each other, making sure that this area is even and aligned, just like that. Check your sides, make sure they're all nice and even. If they're not, slide your interior into place and then replace the pin on center. So once you have done that, what you're going to do is you're going to begin applying your glue. So you want to remove your interior. Make sure that you just set it right here to the side so that you remember that this pin goes with this section right here. Let me explain a little bit about contact cement. Contact cement is a cement that once you place onto the area, it's wet and you need it to dry till it's tacky. So you'll put your finger there and you'll make sure that it's tacky. Now you also need to place it on this portion right here of your interior, because the whole concept between contact cement is to contact the two areas of glue so that it adheres and connects permanently. We're going to begin with our exterior. You're going to place glue from this drawn line right here. You're not going to be gluing at all in this area right here because you still need to slip your zipper ends inside. So you want to glue from that drawn line using your line as your guide. You want to place your glue from that stitch line in. You do not want to go past that stitch line, because if you see where that stitch line is in comparison to your exterior, you do not want to get any glue past that point that might show on your zipper. So we're going to completely cover this area within that stitch line all the way along the zipper tape, all the way down and into this area, and completely cover this whole section of that area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to begin applying this glue, and I'll just do it and probably fade in and out on camera so that you're not completely bored with me putting glue on there. It does have an odor, so you want to make sure that, and keep your damp cloth in your hand, make sure that you have a well ventilated area. So I generally begin on the first line, just like that. Now Craftex is a porous product, so you want to make sure that you don't put too much glue on there. As you can see, once I get that glue right to that stitch line right there, I then spread it out. As you can see, I have completely gone around, just put the lid on that, this whole section. You can see I've just come to the edge of that stitching, just like that, completely covered that whole area. You can see it's still wet. Now I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to let this dry. It should probably take about 15 minutes. And again, you want to test it. You don't want to see any shine. As you can see, that's the shine from the wet. And you want to make sure that it's just tacky. You do not want to have any areas that are wet like that. So I'm just going to set this piece over here to the side, and I'm going to tell you how you need to apply the glue to the back side, wrong side of your interior piece. of this section right here so that it can connect to that glued area on your exterior piece. So a little bit different with this one. You want to completely cover that whole area of fabric. You want to make sure that you don't get any past that fold. So you just want to kind of keep it really close to that edge right there. So same thing applies. You don't have a drawn line, but you do have a stitch line where you have stitched your credit card area. So you want to begin there. Do not go in between this stitch line. Once again, you want to just cover this area right here and go as far as you can over into your fabric area, just like that, without having to get any, try not to get any glue past that area. If you do, don't panic because it is kind of concealed within that zipper area. As you can see, I have covered, get that lid on there, I have covered the wrong side of that section that matches the section of my interior, and there's my exterior. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that air dry for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to show you exactly how you need to place these two pieces together and make everything set in position, and then we will cover this lower portion. So I'll let this dry, and once it's dry we will come back and set those two pieces together. Okay, as you can see, my glue has dried until it's tacky, so that's how you test to see if it's ready. So I have my exterior piece all ready to go and my interior piece all ready to go. What I want to do is I want to take some clips and I just want to clip onto the sides like this. Now this is not going to hold because there is no contact cement on the clip. So I want to make sure that I have a little bit the larger area right here onto this portion right there. And now what I want to do is I want to place this interior onto this exterior, just like that. The reason I've placed these here on the side is so that it doesn't connect down in the lower portion. So I'm actually going to show you the best way to do this. I've got a hold of this piece in my hand. You don't want to make contact with these pieces until you are ready. So I'm kind of bowing out my interior. My hand is underneath here. I'm not getting glue on it because it is actually dry till it's tacky. I am taking this section right here, which is my interior fabric, where that pin is, and I am aligning it with that center pin on the exterior, making sure that these pieces are even and aligned just like we did on the test. So I'm just going to put this into this area right here. So I want to squeeze that just a little bit and make sure it stays straight. I'm holding up my lining section to make sure it doesn't connect. I'm going to put it right in that center portion right there, and then I'm going to hold on to this on my left hand, and I'm going to align that top fold right there with that top fold, just like that, all the way down to this end, just in this top area right here. I'm not touching the lower portion. That is nice and even. Now remember, this is why it was important for you to place the pins exactly where you needed them to be. So this should be now even. You could possibly pull that up really quickly because it's really not bonded well until you've really pushed on it, if you have to do any kind of alignment. So as you can see, I've got this nice and even. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove on the side and press down a little bit on this side and remove this clip here and this clip here and just gently press along this area. Now I want to make sure everything is all nice and aligned, because at this point you could possibly still pull this back, but once you have really connected the contact cement, it will not move. Now is I know that's right. I'm going to press down on here, and I'm actually going to take a poly roller or a hammer. Let me get my poly roller. There we go. And I am going to roll that area, making sure that it's well secured. I'll also take and hammer this. So I will take a hammer and I will hammer that together. The more that you press on this area for bonding, the better it will hold. Now this is permanent. This is a permanent contact cement. So this is now glued in place. So I'm going to pull my pins out of there and just give that a roll right where those pins were, just like that. Now I'm going to roll back my zipper just like that, so you can see exactly how that's looking, just like that. So remember I said to you it didn't really matter if you got a little bit of glue on this area here. Now of course this is black, so you wouldn't see it, but the zipper comes around and it kind of covers that section right there. And once we have that accordion piece with the zipper pouch added, then you don't really see that at all. So this is what this now looks like. If you were to pull back this zipper, this area right here should be even and level. You want to make sure that that is well bonded before you go ahead and add the other section, because the other section is a little bit more tricky to maneuver than your first one. That's why I always like to do my exterior first, so it's all perfectly aligned. So now what you want to do is remember your pin is in the exact position it needs to be. So I'm just going to do a test once again to make sure. I'm going to bring this section of the fold of the lining up, and I'm going to put a couple of clips. Now I'm actually going to do a dry fit all the way around to make sure that it is nice and even. I'm going to make sure I add clips all the way around, because I want to do a test on my rocking of my wallet. So you want to make sure that the distance between that lining and your zipper is the same on both sides. So as you can see, at this point you will have some rocking in your wallet. If it lays flat, then you need to bring this section up a little bit higher because it's probably slipped on you. Okay, so you will have anywhere from just a little bit of rocking to a little bit more, depending on how well you've cut your craft text or whatever. So I know this is how it's going to fit. Everything is perfect and aligned. So I'm going to remove my clips. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. I'm going to add my contact cement to this section right here. And then I'm going to add it to this section right here. Now you have to make sure that when you add it, it doesn't flip back on you. So you may want to hold this in place. Sometimes I will take and I will clip the pin in place like that to the zipper, just so that it holds and dries so that it doesn't flip back in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the glue just like I did on the other side, from this line all the way up around that stitch line around and on this section right here, so that then we can add that last portion to from the interior to the exterior, bonding the whole wallet together. I have covered my exterior section on the other side with the contact cement, as well as on the lining portion. I have still left this clip that has the clipping the pin to the zipper, because I don't want it to flip over. Now, in order for me to show you exactly how I need to do this, I need to rest this wallet against my body, but because I'm further away, I'm just putting a little bit of a support right here. So what you want to do is you just kind of want to lean that wallet up against your body or against something. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to add these clips so that it does not fall and connect to that area as I'm working my top section right here. I'm now going to unclip my pin like that. And what I want to do is I want to bring up, and this is why it's important to have this set up here so that this all is even and helps you hold it in place. So once again, I'm going to place the top fold of the lining, the interior, to the top fold of the exterior, making sure that it is even first of all. And again, I've got my fingers between the two. You want to make sure that those pins, first of all, before you do anything, are even and aligned just like that. Give that a bit of a squeeze right there. And going all the way down this side, you're kind of bowing out that lining a little bit as well to keep it in place. Here. Those pins out of there now. And what you want to do, before you remove those clips, I'm going to add some clips actually to the top here to make sure it doesn't let go on me, because it has some rocking motion to it. So I'm now going to unclip that clip and that clip and work this section right here, holding up this side right here. Same thing, remove this, make sure your tails are well and out of the way, and pressing onto this section. So you can see the bowing. You see that? That is key with this wallet. You need to have the bowing in there. Now I'm going to roll this and make sure that that side's well bonded, and I'm going to, before I remove those clips, I'm going to roll this section as well, making sure that it is well bonded in that area. Lift up those accordion pieces, roll well on the credit card areas, and I'm going to remove the clips, and I'm going to do the same up here at the top, and that will connect and bond. I'll even lift this in through here just to make sure I get it all nicely bonded, and I will probably hammer it as well. You can now bring back that zipper portion just like that, and this is what your wallet will look like. Now, the longer that this contact cement stays together, the better the bond. But as you can see, I just put that in there, and that is completely stuck. Now, if you wanted to, you could still go ahead and do a secondary stitch at this point to secure it all together, but there really is absolutely no reason to do that. So basically, the longer this stays, dries, the better the bond will be. So I'm going to now close my zipper and show you. This is what your wallet should look like at this point. Everything should be aligned. Now, if your zipper needs to be adjusted, do it before you connect everything together. This should be all nicely even as well, and your wallet will be completely adhered with the contact cement. So now at this point, what you're going to need to do is you're going to finish off with your pouch in here. So exactly like you do in the instructions, finish off the sides, the accordion sides, the pouch, tuck in your zipper ends, and your wallet is complete without adding that second stitching. So I hope that this bit of a tutorial helped you. I do apologize for the breaking up of the sound. I'll have to investigate that on my my computer, but basically this is your wallet with one stitch, and I hope that helped a lot, and I love to see your pictures in the group.